required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. I call the meeting to order. We reviewed the minutes, I hope, everybody, from, let's do September 21st first. Any corrections? Do I hear a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And September 24th, any changes? No? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to accept?
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, for our COVID update, we are currently tracking 11 active cases. When I made the original COVID update, our positivity rate was 3.02%, and our incident rate was 14.2 per 100,000. And we can compare that to all of Massachusetts, which was currently 20.3 individuals per 100,000. I've seen a few reports out in the news that use the incidence rate, but they're calling it a percentage. So I just want to make sure that people understand that the incidence rate's not a percentage. We use it out of 100,000, so we can compare smaller towns like us to bigger cities such as Revere or Boston. So all of Mass, the complete average of all the incidence rates in Massachusetts is 20.3 per 100,000. So Harwich is still doing pretty well at the 14.2. Although our cases are 11 right now, it's within the range that we've been seeing. So we don't see any major increases at the moment. Our vaccination rate is very high right now. We have about 82% for all of our eligible recipients and about 75% for our entire population. We're starting to see the younger children, the 12 to 15-year-olds, are about 63% vaccinated right now, which is really high for Cape, which is fantastic to see. The FDA will hopefully be making an announcement sometime this week with regards to the Moderna and J&J boosters, as well as the 5 to 11-year-olds. We're hoping they'll make an announcement sometime this week. That is our COVID update. If anyone has any questions.
All right. We're going to discuss the animal regulations.
Yep, whatever the board would like. I provided a few surrounding towns' animal regulations. Ours are pretty out of date. So I included Chatham, I believe Falmouth was in here, as well as Brewster. Our animal regulations are in here as well, and as you can see, they need a little updating at this point. So
At the last meeting, I did mention that if you guys, as you look through this, if you see anything, I'm going to start working on this. Hopefully next week. And if, as you go through this, you see anything or want to comment, you can email me, and she's going to send out, I have a new email address. She's going to be sending out the list of the board members and it'll have my new updated email. So I hopefully will get started on this next week. So by the next one, maybe I'll have something for you to look at.
Most of these towns are 10 years old.
Yeah.
12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, what I started doing was looking up some of the regulations that they bring up here, and I went on the site and started looking. I did have them saved on my computer. I have to go back and find them again. And I didn't bother to print them out. I thought I'd just look at them on the computer, but I have to go back and find them again and start looking at this. So if you can have the time and you look at it and you see anything, oh, what about this or what about that, let me know. Let me know, and I'll see what I can work with. So I want to save this time.
I think once we have a working draft, we should maybe include the animal control officer as well as reaching out to our agricultural commission and see if they have any input as well.
All right.
In order to have regulation, we'll obviously have to have public hearing, but during the work sessions. If you want any other expertise advice during the drafting, we can certainly bring in anyone.
Does that also go to the Board of Selectmen?
You can if you want, but no, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
How often do they inspect these farms, so to speak?
Right now, it's once a year unless there's an issue, which is pretty typical for most of the towns.
Now, what month do they do that? Or they just doesn't matter?
So if we have a new licensee, typically right away, they'll get inspected, and then, Jen, is it the fall or the spring? The fall. So the fall is when our animal control officer assists in the inspection. Helps us a lot right now, just we're so understaffed. So they're assisting, and have been for a long time.
I was just really surprised that Normus and Brewster hardly had any regulations.
Yeah. We are a right to farm town, but that doesn't mean that we can't have regulations.
Well, I'm sorry, what did you say?
We are a right to farm town, but
Oh,
that doesn't
yeah.
mean that we can't also include guidance and regulations.
Okay, sounds good. And what about the sewer extension criteria?
I haven't looked at that at all, has anybody? I guess I have a question as to, this extension this is for people applying for extension to connect.
Right,
Is
so
that,
most people will have the 2 years,
yeah,
so we have some time to work on this. But the board could think about if someone was under order for connection within 45 days, if you want to have any,
what was the document that we did when we said, you know, we listed,
the IA for the order to connect.
yes,
So there were criteria within the order to connect.
so how is that different from what we want to do here? Wouldn't it be some of the same stuff?
It could, if that's what you want to do. The order to connect, only referenced systems with IA technology. So if you wanted to have an
Okay,
inclusion that if someone had a traditional Title V system within the 10 years, if that's what you would like to do, you can make that.
all right. Was any of this in the wastewater information, or did what was in wastewater come out of what we had?
I believe what was in wastewater came out of this.
Came out of this, all right. Do we, so do we?
Not out of this waiver, but out
But
of the order,
All right, okay, all right, I'm with it now, okay.
I believe. I can double check on that.
All right,
So this is not certainly something that needs to come up right away.
Yeah.
But it certainly should be something in the back of your mind, because
Well,
when that 2 years hits,
the fact that we only meet once a month, yeah, I think it probably is to start at least thinking about it and start putting something down.
and you may have individuals who were required to connect within 45 days, they may want to come forward.
Yeah. All right, so we need to do all of that, all right, okay. And now I know how to think about it.
You can break those up if you want to have in-house guaranteed extensions, or if you want to see every single one come before the board.
Okay, so meaning that you guys could handle it.
If you want to go that route, you can. So if you say if a system was installed within 5 years, we'll allow it to be held at staff level, but if
Based on certain criteria, whatever we set
exactly.
forward.
if that's what the board wants to do, it's completely your decision.
What are your feelings on that?
I think the board should certainly come up with some criteria, but I think there will be criteria that we could handle at staff level.
Yeah.
I think if a system is only a few years old and it's in compliance, I can see allowing the homeowners to keep it into 10 years maybe. But we can certainly look at what other towns are doing and see if they've established certain criteria for extension.
All right, so, do we have any of that information now?
So we did poll the other towns.
Do
There's,
we have to comply with what Chatham is doing?
so we
Yes.
did make some amendments, so we're allowed to have a registered sanitarian.
Yeah,
We extended to 2 years. We had small things that they may not have been approved yet, but will be prior to sewer connection.
All right, because there was stuff in the IMA, I think, on that.
So Dan Pelletier is working with Chatham right now to get some of those.
You know what, I'll get in contact with him.
Sure, that's a great idea.
And I'm gonna ask him what they're doing, and then if he gives me something, or when they have something, I'll give it to you.
Sure.
And you can get it out to the rest, that we have at least some idea, but the fact that some of this is gonna flow into Chatham, if I remember, there were certain things that we had to comply with what they do.
So the IA one came out of Chatham's.
Yeah,
But that's a great idea.
all right. Okay, that's all for me. Okay.
Anyone else have anything?
Do you want to do your report?
Do you want to move on to the new business, or do you want me to skip?
Oh, whatever,
report?
yes, that's fine.
Did you want me to do my report before the new business?
I think so.
My report first?
Is that okay with everybody?
Our report's pretty brief. We're still on the weekly calls for the Department of Public Health every Tuesday afternoon. They've been really vital for continued updates. The Health Agents Coalition also has moved to meeting bi-weekly right now, which is nice. We can have an extra hour here and there to work on other things. We had 3 flu clinics. 1 was employee only and 2 were open to the public. The employee flu clinic, we vaccinated 135 individuals. The first public clinic, we vaccinated 67 individuals. And the final clinic yesterday, we did 91 individuals. And yesterday, we were able to get some of the high-dose vaccine for seniors, and we were able to get 16 of the seniors vaccinated. Yesterday, we had quite a few walk-ins and bike-ins, which was really nice to see that the signs out on the street brought people in that weren't planning on getting one. So a special thanks to our nurses, our Barnstable County nurse Deirdre, our town nurse Sue Giselle, who is just absolutely amazing, and her nurses Jill and Jane. They were just so fantastic to work with. And of course, Carrie and Jen were running around helping do everything they could do, and we're really fortunate to have such a great team. I'm taking part in the Health Agents Coalition Cyanobacteria and Algae Subcommittee, so we're starting early now, hoping to have a plan in place by next summer where all the towns will have consistent posting criteria, signage, and kind of reporting to the towns. There was quite a few blooms this summer across the board. It was difficult for residents to see one town versus the other. So we're trying to come up with the consistent reporting, signage, and education moving forward. So if anyone's interested in that, we can certainly include you on any of the meetings. If we had a quorum, we'd have to post it, but if any 1 or 2 people wants to jump on the meetings, I can certainly include you in those.
When are the meetings?
It changes. I can send out the information next time, and if we have a quorum, we'll have to post it as a meeting, but we could certainly do that.
So are you meet online?
Online, yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yep.
I would think about it. I
You-
lost those, I
I
lost
think you
all
have
those.
enough.
Pardon?
Don't you have enough?
Well, that's right up my alley. with-
Oh, okay.
With the bacteria.
I'm
Which is
sorry, I
really
didn't mean
nice.
it that way.
That's okay. I lost all those links that I, to log on for all of that.
Okay,
So I would re-need those.
okay,
Yeah, I don't have any of those anymore.
okay. Yeah, I can, if I have anything, I can send
All
it
right.
to you.
All right.
So that's it for my update.
Okay. We can go to new business.
you want me to read it, or would you like
Please,
to?
yeah.
Show cause hearing, 212 Route 28 Hotel Motel, Route 28 LLC. Show cause hearing for failure to comply with real estate transfer regulation, alternative to inspection waiver conditions.
I open the hearing.
Good evening. Dan Ojala, I'm a land surveyor and civil engineer with Downkeep Engineering in Yarmouthport, here on behalf of the owner of Hotel Motel Route 28 LLC, Sir Brian Jordan. First, we want to apologize for the miscommunication on this. Brian forgot to get us a copy of the original 4721 letter, or 20, was it 20 or 21? Yeah, 4721 letter that said we would contact you if there was any problem with the dates. It was just, I think he glossed over and saw the November and had us working on the plan in that time frame, and we just forgot to mention that to us. We certainly would have let you know. We'd actually done the perk out here with Kathleen back in 12/1/20. They had gotten us going right away on this. And then after this letter here, we continued to work on it. We filed an RDA with the Conservation Commission in late May, just after the letter, and got their approval. It doesn't actually need any variances at all, so the plan is ready to go. They can file for the disposal works construction permit and construct it. The only thing is that he was looking at it, and he had a few different installers kicking the tires on it. One of them suggested he really wants to save a roadway that's over here. So he suggested if we used a plastic system and skinnied it up and made it just a little bit longer, we'd be able to retain that driveway over there. So we just recently sent him a revised plan that would also not have any variances, but used a pressure dose system with Caltech field drain panels in that area. And he's certainly considering doing that. He thinks that would be a very attractive alternative. So he has every intention of installing this. Just got by us that line number 2 where you were supposed to apply for the disposal construction permit immediately. He figured he had, until November or whatever to do it, I guess. So I apologize for him for that. And I guess at this point, in this late hour, we might need another couple of weeks to get this in. It'll be a little bit nip and tuck, but we'll certainly try to get it in by November 1st. Certainly we'll have the permit application in by then. But the intention of the original letter was always to, put it in this fall, and that's his intent to do that. Yeah, you guys made it clear that he wouldn't get his 2022 permit unless this system is in. So, just classic case of a little bit of miscommunication. He forgot to get us the letter, and forgot to notify you guys on that. And but he's been talking in good contact with a good local installer, and it looks like everything's going to be right back on track. Be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Any comments? There's no public people on the phone or anything, correct? Okay.
No, I do just want to point out too, the homeowner did call earlier in the week, and he did speak to us and say that Downkeep had not prepared a plan. So the original letter, we were very gracious, I believe, in allowing him to continue this entire summer with what they had. So I do recommend that the board require at least the engineering engagement letter within 7 days of the meeting, that a septic installer and service agreement need to be submitted to the health department within 30 days. The upgrade, I believe, should be completed within 45 days. It's up to the board if they'd like to adjust that. And if failure to comply with whatever date you decide, I believe we should go the non-criminal disposition route.
Are these conditions something that can be done?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound unrealistic, and certainly we'll if we're good cause, come in and ask, but I think those timeframes should be just fine. We had an engagement letter already in place, so it's, we'll certainly get that over, and we're under contract. I don't know if he didn't understand that the plan was done, but again, he was concerned about losing that driveway, and it's a case of probably too many cooks. He had a partner or a friend that had advised on this, and everything seemed to be fine, but then he got thinking about that, losing that curb cut, and he really, really thought he needed it, so, as a last minute thing, he just did request, a week or so ago, to revise it, so maybe that's what he meant, we hadn't got him that revised plan yet, but, I do, have that, pretty much wrapped up. Again, we're very busy, but actually it was just the other day, yesterday that we showed him the smaller system that one of his contractors had recommended, and he's thinking about that. But this is ready to go right now. If he wants to do the smaller one, it'll be ready, in a few days, so I don't see any real problems with meeting these dates.
And what was the date that,
30
So-
days,
Yeah, if you go into the recommendations for the health director, it had my recommended time frame on that.
30 for a contract and
So that would
45
be,
for completion.
November, number 2 would be November 19th.
So it's 45 days of approval, after approval. We're running 2 to 3 weeks right now for plan review.
all right, that was, all right.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I motion to accept with the conditions set forth by the health director. I think those are completely reasonable if there's been communication going on ahead of time that 45 days should be able to be met.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
great, I
Do
appreciate
you
it.
mind, I think there's a sign-in sheet, Dan, do you mind just, perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. So we don't have any correspondences for this evening, and there's only one new permit, who is a new utility installer, which is Diggett Construction LLC.
Oh. Well, do I hear a motion to accept?
Where were they located?
Motion to accept permits?
Diggett is out of South Dennis.
Okay. So you're making a motion, do I hear a second to accept
I'll second.
permit? And all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Okay.
That's it.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Quick.
Is there a second?
I,
Oh, I'm
Second
sorry.
motion.
And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Aye.